And we're live. What's going on?
We are just pouring myself a brewski.
How have you been?
How have I been? I'm kind of at the tipping point. Like, I don't know. I just
Oh fuck! Always.
always.
Always. You know, we have got 33 people in waiting in the stream here, and only 17 likes. I think we should
Only
wait.
17. How many?
30 people, 30 likes. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they can go backwards in likes, they can definitely like it.
And we've got a dislike already. Like, that's a first. Like, within seconds, getting a dislike. That's a good one. Someone out there is on the prowl. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and look at the pre-live crack going on there.
So how you been? Tell us how have
I been. How have I been? I don't know, man. I had a bad day and I was like, dude, I'm gonna see if Eugene wants to go live because I need to do something to fucking get my mind out of dark places. And I was like, you're like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, awesome. So I ran out, grabbed some groceries and some beer. I have to admit, there was some beer involved in my supermarket purchase. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just like it's really finally like kind of getting to me. Like I kind of put up with, lockdown, social distancing, staying home unless you need to, having a bad haircut, that kind of stuff. And then today, just like everything just piled up on top of me. And I was like, man, this is like really brutal. It's true. It's true. Like, I'm going to be honest.
I went grocery shopping today, and for the first time ever, I wore a mask.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's only because today, or what's today? Tuesday. Yesterday was the first day they're making it mandatory for us to wear masks at work, and they're handing them out. And
no way.
Most of the guys have been wearing them besides me. So yesterday I put one on, and it's like they feel like they're stretching my ears, and I got a really bad headache. I'm like, I thought it was my fragrance at first. I was like, I'm getting a really bad headache. And then I took my mask off, and it went like the headache went away right away, So it was like just like it's not a whole lot of pressure, but just the slightest bit of pressure, and it was giving me an earache.
I agree. And so I don't know. I haven't worn a mask, but I know like if I wear a hat and certain sunglasses, they put pressure on the back of my ears, and they like really give me a bad headache. And it's like if I take one or the other off, it goes away.
Yeah.
But if I'm wearing a hat, it's usually because my hair's a mess, or I'm wearing sunglasses because it's sunny out and I get really bad headaches from the sun as well. But yeah, no, I can totally get that. And
it doesn't take much. Just a little bit of pressure will do.
Absolutely. So I have to say, like, the American Pie Lights Out, like, these streams aren't even about fragrance anymore. It's like the diary of our miserable lives. Like, man, if you go back and like look at the stuff like that I've said just since we've done live streams after lockdown, it's just like, man, stuff I wouldn't say like, normally, just like irritated and agitated and pissed off and miserable. And okay, so what's up with the show me your spritz things? Tom or anyone else out there, because I've seen that kind of going around.
I've been tagged in this show me your spritz tag, but it's a questionnaire. I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Raj tagged me. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. Nothing against Raj. I love his channel, but
English Raj.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's great. I love him. He's been around for a while.
I mean, I'll show you my spritz, but not in the video format.
I know. Believe it or not, no one's tagged me. Like, I think I've kind of consider myself like the Fragcom's like permit.
There he is, right? Actually, as we speak.
Oh, did he show up?
Yeah.
No way.
That's Raj there.
There he is. You better do it. Raj wants to see your spritzer, man.
I like when Raj has his dad on talking about fragrance. His dad's pretty well informed. He's got good taste. He might not know all the detail that Raj knows, but he's got good taste. I respect that.
No, for sure, absolutely. No, I've been watching him for years. Like, he's been around for a long time, man. Like, a long time.
Yeah. And he's easy to listen to, which I like. Like, he doesn't jump all over the place, and just somebody I've always been comfortable with watching.
Totally, absolutely, totally. And, just seems very fair, unbiased, genuine, well-spoken. Yeah, go check out the Sentient Man.
Check him out here. If you haven't already subscribed, the Sentient Man, he's right here.
Yeah, definitely do that.
But I see Naringa in the comments. Let's talk about Naringa for a bit.
Okay, go on.
Have you seen her Instagram post today?
I believe so. Why is that?
Well, I saw the post today, and I can't remember for the life of me what perfume was in it. But I'm sure it's going to sell a lot of bottles.
So are you implying she's on the Atelier des Ors payroll?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not.
Okay. Okay, and if she's not, then she should be.
Absolutely. If I was Atelier, I'd be sending her like the whole collection of bottles, even duplicates to give away.
She's just going to be inundated with like bros and like. Totally. I don't even want to get into it.
Totally.
But yes, I saw the picture. I did.
Do you remember what fragrance it was?
I know the house because I remember the bottle, but no, I don't. I really don't remember what the actual perfume was.
Yeah, no. I know it was an Atelier, but like the perfume didn't stand out. Let's just say that.
Oh my, yeah, unsolicited penis pics. Okay. So, Robert Quinlan day drinking wins today. I can't stay up for this, or even a Fragcom cleavage thumbnail. I'll catch it in the morning. Get to bed, Robert. Get to bed. Get to bed, my friend. Judd the Stud.
Where's that? I don't know where I'm looking at.
It's just up here. Who is Maranga?
Maranga?
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Judd. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
If you go to Instagram, you need Instagram, and Life Through Her Lens, I think is the...
Oh, dude, you're doxing her. Oh, man. Okay, go on.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm doxing.
It's like giving out personal details. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're in a public platform.
Fair enough. All right, I don't know.
I won't drop the link. I'll just say Life Through Her Lens.
Well, that's her YouTube name, I guess. No one's... or some people haven't connected it, but I'm sure she's going to get like 100 more followers on Instagram in the next day or two.
She doesn't need us, believe me.
Oh, no. Who is it? The Curly Sense girl? No, not Curly Sense girl.
Our admin. She's not she's not a YouTuber. I mean, she should be. She'd have a gazillion followers. I'm certain of it.
Kristo, do you secretly wear Le Male? I don't, but I totally admit that it is an amazing, groundbreaking scent. But
I wear Le Male underwear.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like before we started the stream, you were just like, "Hey, dude, I totally saw you in your undies prancing around," and I was like, "What? How?" And I had no idea, like, you had not entered the studio yet, and I had no idea you can see inside my place. And I was literally, I guess these guys wouldn't know, but every live stream and any video that I've ever recorded, I'm basically always in my underwear.
Okay. So to be fair, prancing was your word, not mine. I never said prancing.
You said prancing, but I wasn't prancing around.
I don't know. It's like
I don't really prance. I'm not that light-footed.
No, I literally was like, I came. You sent me the link. I opened it, and I literally just saw you sit down. Like the second I came in, and I was like, Eugene's in his undies.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was like, at least you're wearing those, because right now, who knows what we got on down below.
Yeah, but I got my striped Lamal underwear on.
Okay, fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was, was it a thong? I'm not going to comment on that. American Pie Lights Out. I'll leave that up to your imaginations. You can imagine the cut and the fit. Oh, there she is, Catherine. She heard something dirty coming on.
You see a lot of that now that guys are home and they're working. They're streaming from home. They have a nice shirt on, a tie, and a jacket, and then the bottoms are just like undies and slippers. Or something.
They've got a shirt and a tie tucked into their underwear or something.
Totally. All right, so let's get into our scent of the day. What have you been into?
So right now I am wearing. Where's the front? The label's kind of like rubbed off. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm wearing Vetiver Vert from Check and Speak.
I thought that was like a green Boss bottled version.
No.
Like Boss bottled spring.
No, I assure you. Oh, maybe there. It is a Check and Speak. No Boss bottled here, my friend. Very, very bright citrus opening, like, lemon, and then it gets into kind of like a dry, earthy, base. It's good. I got it in a blind swap. Like, it's not, kind of like groundbreaking or anything, but it's definitely a nice, fresh, clean fragrance. It actually turned out to be a little bit cooler today than I thought. Like, when I put it on, it was like really sunny, and I thought it was quite warm.
It was quite cold today, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So when I ended up going out to, do groceries and stuff, I was like, wow, it's actually really chilly out, and it got dark and, all that. So I like it, but it just didn't end up suiting what I was doing for the day. But it's a good scent. I don't wear it much, but I typically just wear it when I'm bumming around at home.
All right, cool.
And yourself?
I am in. So this was my day scent.
Yeah, 1957. Yep. Okay.
I love this stuff. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Very musky. Like, it's got just layers and layers and layers upon musk. And it's just excellently done. Mm-hmm. There's moments it gets a little bit pissy on me. It gets a little bit furry. I mean, it's never really dirty. It never really enters that Musk Kublai Khan territory, but there's contrasts of freshness to it. Mm-hmm. And it's got a huge sparkle, like this it's got a huge sparkle of light, which I like. Okay. I haven't tried it for a while. Like, I remember trying it a lot when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it, but I haven't tried it much since then. I think it's one of the most unique musk scents I've ever come across. Really? That's pretty bold. Okay. Yeah.
I would love 1957 on fuzzy is a good word. What gives it fuzziness then? Is that
I think
patchouli in
there's
there?
some
Because I know.
lavender. I think there's a little bit of lavender, but
Interesting.
you can't really detect it. It doesn't stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, after work, after my shower, I am in
Was
Jiki.
that Jiki?
Yeah.
Cool.
And this is the EDT. Just something
Mm-hmm.
nice and light and fresh after a shower.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. No, I didn't change it up. I don't usually change up fragrances during the day. I guess it's just like now that I'm just sitting at home doing nothing, I just kind of am used to putting something on and just having it just kind of sit on me all day. And before, like at work, I would put something on in the morning and I would just take the bottle with me and put it on a little bit later in the day. I wouldn't put something on different, but no, I'm typically a single perfume per day kind of guy. I guess that's just who I am. I've powdered my bottom on occasion. What occasion is that? I may ask. Fragrance review. Fans only channel. Wow, we got a lot of comments.
I'm gonna have somebody come on a special.
Do you want to say who it is, or?
Let's give them a couple of minutes. Let's there's something that we did want to talk about specifically. Do you want to get into that right away? Oh, actually, I reviewed this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Now that you say that, yeah, I remember what you wanted to talk about. But go on.
I reviewed this yesterday, and this is Dawn. Yeah. Are you familiar with this?
I tried it with you, and that's kind of about it. But yeah. They want to know if it's Dogman.
No, it's not. Yeah,
is it
I'll
save
that for another time. Let's get into what we talked about. The Amouage Interlude flanker.
Yeah.
So they've kind of announced it looks like a flanker to me called.
Oh, definitely.
Interlude Black Iris, which I thought was really strange when I saw it.
So yeah, I hadn't. Go on. Sorry.
Just coming from a super indie. I mean, not indie, a niche house doing a flanker. It's not something that I'd ever expect to see from them before. I mean, we've seen niche brands do flankers, but not from a brand like this. And I was really surprised, but not. I mean, we kind of seeing the market going this way. Christopher Chong has left. I think he's kind of maximized his time there. And I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe recapitalize on past successes. And I think up until now, Interlude's probably been their best seller. They probably went back into their books, right? Their accounting books, and saw how much of a success it was, and said, let's do a reworking of this.
Yeah, so I think as well that so when you sent me that picture yesterday, or the link or whatever it was yesterday, my first reaction, because it was like Interlude, which I know is like, for men, they're going to do the Black Iris. Initially I went like, wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But then I kind of started thinking about it and analyzing it. And I was like, you know what?
Why did
maybe
they
not
use Interlude? Why couldn't they just make it a whole new fragrance?
Exactly. Why don't they just call it Black Iris?
Exactly.
So, so then I was kind of like, and then you mentioned about Christopher Chong leaving, someone else taking over the helm. So I kind of start, processing and analyzing this, and it was like, I wonder if is it Harvey Weinstein? We got Harvey Weinstein on waiting on the stream. But yeah, anyway, so it's just kind of like, I think you're right. I think you're right in the sense that it's the first flanker Amouage is done, and apparently it is the first one. It's the first one that they're doing after Chung leaves, right? Or has left.
I believe so.
I think so. I don't know. I'm not up to snuff on
keep up to date with Amouage, and
okay.
I haven't even smelt like the last 5 releases probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is the first one after he's left.
So yeah, and then that's kind of concerned because I've already kind of like gotten sick of Amouage, and I think most other than like Beach Hut and maybe a couple of the other ones after that, I think a lot of these are literally just flankers of Interlude that just have different names. You know, what is it like Honor and, you know, all those like the red bottle, the oily clear bottle, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of those were already flankers of Interlude, but they just had original names.
Right, right. And then they also had the commercial on Facebook, which I haven't seen them do anything like that before.
Yes.
So now they're marketing it. So it looks like they've come up with a new marketing department.
Oh, Jeremy Hines is saying it is a Christopher Chong composition.
Really? But I thought he was
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm so out of the loop on Amouage. I don't know. But either way, whatever. I don't know. I want to try it, but so I said to you last night or whatever, I was like, you know, I think it's going to be, you know, Amouage does Dior Homme Intense. Like, you know, just looking at the notes, there's going to be some sweetness. I guess Dior Homme Intense doesn't have smokiness to it really, but it's going to be dark iris, which means sweet for men. And I just
Dior Homme Parfum. That's a really dark fragrance. That's darker than the Intense.
I haven't tried it yet. To be honest, I have not tried it yet.
The Parfum, Dior Homme Parfum.
No, I have not tried it yet.
It's really good, actually.
I've not tried it. But whatever. I don't know. I just think it's like, I initially got kind of excited about, you know, like, you know, there's something new going on here. They're doing like black iris for men. I was like, cool. And then once I kind of had a couple minutes to think about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm as hot about it. Whatever. I love when I find something that I really enjoy that I think I'm going to hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
when I smell it, I am looking forward to it, and I'm kind of excited. I won't lie.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Silverman saying Amouage prices have skyrocketed recently. I don't know about that. Is that true?
I can't imagine any brand lifting their prices at this time. You know, just with the lockdown and people out of work. That sounds fucking insane to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Amouage is just a house that on the retail spectrum, they're just so far off it. I don't even know what their prices are. I know they're insane.
Yeah, overpriced. All right, I got a guest here. I'm gonna let him on. You cool with that?
I guess I have no idea who it is, but
well, you're gonna meet him. I don't think you two have ever spoken before, but
okay, go ahead.
Here we go. And we've got George Zaharoff in the house. Looking good, Georgie. Welcome back. Good.
Thank you. Kristo,
do you know Kristo?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you know Kristo? I'm not sure. Time. All right, Kristo, that's George. George.
Hello, George.
It's nice to meet you. Meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Hi there, handsome Eugene. How are you?
What's going on, George? How you been?
How you doing? I've been locked up. I'm like all like, you know, I feel like look at this. I feel like I'm slowly like, you know, becoming like a what is it, Rip Van Winkle? Like,
dude, what are you talking about? Your beard looks on point. You look like you've been fucking tanning. Nothing's changed. What do
It's
you?
always a vacation with me. You know that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So thank you for inviting me. That's very nice of you, Eugene. And you look ever handsome as ever.
Anytime. It's nice to have you back. I mean, had a lot of fun filming with you and getting to know you. So you're always welcome here.
I have to tell you something, and everyone's watching this, and I tell this to everybody. But meeting you was a life like an altering. Like I grew from meeting you.
Really?
I did. Yeah. I and Krista, I want to talk about you because I have a couple things I'd like to ask you. But with Eugene, it's like, when you go, I go to Tibet and I talk with a Buddhist monk, a Tibetan Bon monk, and you grow from that. And meeting you, I felt like it was one of those things. Like I think you're exceptional, and I love your path and your growth, and I learned from that, and that's awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, George. I really appreciate that. And I can tell you, I felt the same, like just getting to know you and talking to you for the few hours. It was a great experience,
It was awesome. It was a great time. And, Crystal, so, I would love to know more about you because I see you interacting with Eugene, and I would ask, like, who is the gentleman? And they're like, his name is Kristo, but I don't know. It's Kristo, right? Kristo?
That's
Kristo?
correct.
What nationality is it? What nationality are you?
Well, so I'm Canadian, born and raised, but I don't know. My background's like just a mixture. Like I'm, part Croatian, German, British, just kind of like a whole cacophony of different nationalities. But so where this comes from, and I've not really mentioned this before. So my full name, Christopher, is with a K and an F. So Kristofer, which is
like
quite
Germanic, right? Is it like Germanic?
It is. That's correct. Scandinavian, Germanic, whatever. So when I was creating my Fragrantica profile back like 11 years ago, you can only have one name per user. And I put in Chris, which is what I used to go by. Someone already had it. I put in Christopher, which is my full name. Someone already had it. So I put in Kristo, and it's like, it's yours. So that's kind of what I became.
I think that there you go, folks. So you're just, then how did the two of you meet? This is like Review the Reviewer's friends.
You're picking our brains.
Hey,
Eugene and I went and got the same crappy mic. It was a 2-for-1. So I'm sorry.
George, do you have a mic?
Andre,
can you get a little closer to your mic? I'm having trouble hearing you too.
Me?
Yeah.
You just want me.
Come on, give it to me, Daddy.
Right. All right. I'll just come a little closer like this. So yeah. So it's nice to meet you. So how did the two of you get to? And hi everybody. It's good to see everybody. Just love to everyone. So tell me, how did the two of you meet?
So do you want to take that, Eugene, or?
Well, Kristo started sending me like really nasty messages and nudes and telling me how he wanted to hook up and all this stuff. And I was down for it. I'm open for anything. I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? No, I don't know.
You make straight men, Eugene, even straight men want you. You see? Look at that smile. You see how he smiles?
Who said I was straight? Who said I was straight?
Those charming smiles from one side. He knows what he's doing.
Wait till I stand up and they see my Lamal underwear.
I'm wearing mine too.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Look at that.
I'm wearing my boxer shorts too.
Well, there you go. But they're not Lamal. Like mine are fucking like Lamal.
Wow! There we go. Look at that.
Can't see it. Back up a little bit.
Take me out for dinner first, at least.
Deal.
All right.
Virtual dinner. Let's do it.
How did the two of you end up meeting?
So as I recall, I was living in Indonesia, and I ended up moving back to Canada kind of on unfortunate terms. And I just remember like I don't even know, maybe I was putting stuff on Facebook. I really don't remember, but I remember just like Eugene texting me, and we just started talking. Is like we just texted nonstop for like days. Like to the point is like, is this dude like just sitting at home doing nothing like me? Like we would literally just text for like day, like, you know, just all day.
This is
and
hilarious. It's like
exactly
little like the little girls. Hi, how are you? Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's real? I'm playing
yeah.
jokes. I'm playing jokes. I'm having fun with you guys.
No, but that is like we just texted like nonstop for like I don't know.
It was literally just about perfume. I didn't know anything. I didn't know he was married. I didn't know he had kids. We didn't talk about anything but perfume for the longest time. And just like, have you smelt this? No. All right, I'll send you some. Have you smelt? No. What do you think of this? You know, it was just literally about perfume. And then I was like,
do you guys both are you guys both in this? Can you hear me okay? Can
yeah.
You guys hear me? Are you guys both in the same area? You guys live close to each other?
Yeah, close-ish.
Like less than an hour drive, which is like these days, an hour drive is not a whole lot.
Right, with traffic.
It's not a long time.
Because there's a lot of construction going to your place from Toronto.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you Christopher, can I call you Kristo or Christopher?
Please, whatever you prefer, sir.
Kristo, what do you call him, Eugene?
I usually go by Kristo in the frag comp.
So Kristo,
dickhead,
motherfucker,
asshole, whatever.
So when you guys finally met, did you meet at the house? Because I mean, what did you think of his collection? Because the moment I saw it, I was like, wow, Eugene, this is really. I actually told him that I felt like his house was like it was like a meditation. Like it was very calming, and he was surrounded by like beautiful things. Do you know what I mean? You guys, I'm a big fan of Eugene, so I'm fanning all over him. But I just think
no, it was a while later. So we hung out in Toronto. We went downtown Toronto, and he's just. So I moved back to Canada and Indonesia. Like as much as I love it, like it's not the best place in the world for like niche exclusives and stuff like that. So he's like,
wait. You said Indonesia?
Yeah, Indonesia. Yeah.
So you were living in Indonesia?
I lived there for 12 years.
Where? KL?
In Jakarta.
In Jakarta. So people who know that Kuala Lumpur is Malaysia. Sorry.
That's, yeah.
KL.
No,
Jakarta is not exactly, yeah, they're close to each other. They're very close. They're like a half hour, 45-minute flight, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But Jakarta is not it's a very growing city. It's not as modern as the rest of the other Hong Kong, right? It's a tough city. So
absolutely.
What were you doing there? That's really cool. I didn't know that.
I was teaching English. I was an English teacher.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Thank you. No. Don't worry about it. But yeah, like I was there for a long time, and you're right. You're spot on. Like Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Hong Kong, all much more modern, more advanced. But like Jakarta's like, so it's the biggest city in the Southern Hemisphere. There's like 15 to 18 million people. It's just absolutely insane. It's just, I don't know. I just love it. I thrived there. Like it was just like nothing I've ever experienced.
Like the energy, isn't it sinking? Don't they want to move the capital, right? Do they want to move it? I heard.
Wow. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Yes, they're trying to move it to like Borneo, to Kalimantan.
Right, and then get rid of all of the orangutan, all in the process. But yeah, the city is sinking, and it's anyway, I love that whole part of the world, and I think it's pretty awesome. You know, I have done it a couple times, and I'll get back to you because I want to hear this. But I would go in, oh my goodness, in Vietnam and in Thailand. You go to the Buddhist Wats, the monasteries, and they'll keep you there. And I would teach them English in exchange for staying there with them. They did not want any money. They wanted nothing, but it was just the experience of being in that region. And yeah, I love it. So thanks for sharing that. So you went from Canada, you went to Indonesia just to teach. How did you end up in Jakarta? Jakarta.
That was the first place I was offered a job.
Awesome. That's cool. Okay,
So like, I was 21 years old. I had never even, other than going to like upstate New York, I'd never left Canada.
So did you love fragrances in Indonesia as well? Your love of fragrances has always been.
That's where it blossomed. So I'd been into it since I was in high school in Canada, but yeah, that's where it like really took off. And, you know, and so my original YouTube name was Betawi Blood, which was like an homage to my background in Indonesia, because that's where I kind of found perfume and fell in love with perfume. So I've since changed it just because it's connected to my email accounts where I'm looking for jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like Indonesia for many, 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 many reasons is very important to, and Jakarta as well is really important to me in, you know, life, perfume, many things.
That is so awesome. And, you know, Eugene, this is what I love so much, that each one of you, like how many people you have, 119 people in your room, and Christopher and yourself, all of you guys have a story. And Christopher, thank you so much. Honest, I am so awesome. I'm so happy just to learn that little part of you, because it now makes you look like on a whole different level to me, and I know for many of them watching this. So okay, let's get back to this. So you meet with Eugene.
Yeah.
Do you meet at the house, or did you guys? How did it happen?
No, we met. We went downtown Toronto, and he took me to.
After texting with him for what was probably months.
Awesome.
I mentioned something about Indonesia, and he's like, "No, I'm actually back in Canada." And I was like, "What?
Really? I don't remember that. I didn't know that.
I've been back I don't tell anybody. Nobody asks. I don't announce it, but I'm back. I'm like, holy fuck! Okay. All right, let's go sniffing. Like, let's go downtown and sniff some shit.
I didn't realize that. Like, yeah, like I said, I came back on like, you know, kind of unfavorable terms, and I was like just like really down in the dumps and just like not really, you know, it's like kept kind of quiet. So I didn't realize that, but whatever. Yeah. So then we went downtown Toronto. Eugene took me, I don't know, I can't really remember the path that we took, but I know it was, the last thing was Guerlain Boutique, and just overwhelmed, and just like all this stuff that I couldn't access there.
Oh, I think in one day you got to smell Frederic Mull, Chanel exclusives, and Guerlain Heritage.
Yeah.
And we went
absolutely.
to Sephora, and we smelt a bunch of designers as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know what? It's so awesome to hear this. And I know, you know, there's something about Eugene that's very charismatic, and it's like he like puts you into some kind of spell. Because Eugene, you're what, 6'3", right? You're a big presence, right?
I'm almost 6'4".
Almost. Oh, the difference between 6'3" and 6'4".
We're the same height. You and I were the same height, but you have a presence about yourself, and there's something very charismatic. And I can imagine Kristo, and it doesn't matter your heights, of course. I'm just trying to paint this picture of you two meeting. And so what was your first impression on the reason why I'm asking about Eugene is because we're on his channel, and a lot of people watching this are big fans of his and yours. So what is it like when you first met Eugene? Like, what was it? So you guys meet at Guerlain or wherever, you meet him, and it was like, was it like, this is so cool? Or were you like, you know?
That's so funny, because it was kind of like a first date. It's like, hey, how are you? And then like we kind of talk, and it's like, yeah, he's cool. He's cool. And I still remember does Eugene remember the fragrance that I wore the first time that I met you?
I do.
What was it?
God, the names, it was Check and Speak. It was the black bottle. What was the name? It was the rose one.
88, number 88.
88, that's right.
Wow, there you go.
I was like, this guy smells dark, man. Like he smells sinister. You know, I couldn't comprehend what the fuck he was wearing.
And what was he wearing? Say that again. What was he wearing? He was wearing a combination. What did you say?
It's Check and Speak number 88.
Okay. And it was a heavy. Is it like a dark? When you say dark, what is dark? Is it like a wood? What was it that you were smelling?
Rose.
Rose.
It's,
oh, really?
Yeah. It's a very dark. I describe it as like a gothic barbershop fragrance. So it's got barbershop qualities, but it's got like rose and champaca, and it's very dark, very, very dark. I love it. I totally love number 88.
Are there a lot? You know what? I would love for you to elaborate on gothic fragrances a little bit later. So let's finish this. So you meet Robes. You guys spend the evening or the day. You guys go to lunch. How did that go? What was your first date like?
You know, I think we spent 12 hours or something together the first day, and we didn't go for lunch. We didn't drink anything.
That's awesome.
We didn't eat. All we did was like smell perfume and talk about perfume, and that's it. Like, we didn't sit down anywhere. I just took him to as many places just to get him to smell as many things as he could. I didn't know if we were ever going to meet up again or not. So...
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree totally. Like that's.
And you see, it wasn't a one-night stand. That means it was awesome. It was good.
Actually, yeah, we did. We got a hamburger on the way home. Now that I think about it, like right at the end of the trip, we stopped for a hamburger.
Do you know what's good? What I like about Eugene and Kristo, to not to in any way take away from the experience of meeting you, of course, but just because, again, I know, and most of them are fans of Eugene, is that time goes by very quickly with Eugene. Eugene is very well spoken. He's got knowledge, and he loves fragrance. And like, I even told him he's a good teacher. Like, when he talks, I'm like, you know what? Your kids are very fortunate to have you, because he explains things too. He's very patient. So, okay. So now you end up at his house and you see all those fragrances. Which one of Eugene's I mean, it's impressive. When you look at his collection, he's got a collection that's, you know, I want to say probably $50,000-$60,000 worth of fragrances behind him. Sorry. So what did you think of all his fragrances? Like, what did you...
He's seen them so many times, they don't impress him anymore. I got to bring out my big guns to impress Kristo.
No. The first time, though. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it or other people know about it, but there's an episode of Seinfeld where Jerry Seinfeld dates this girl. He goes to her apartment and she's got like all these like antique toys, like all these vintage toys on a shelf in her living room. And he wants to play with them, but she's like, no, don't touch it. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. And he ends up like getting her drunk and like drugging her so she'll fall asleep. And he can like play with the toys while she's not awake. And it's like, that's like what I was like. I was like, man, I'm going to get this guy like blackout drunk and then just sit and sniff all his perfumes all night.
I think a lot of people would like to get you blacked out drunk, Eugene, but not smelling your fragrances after that.
Oh,
and that's a joke. That's a joke.
Fuck.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. So which one of his fragrances did you like? Did he have anything in the collection? And there's a lot of them, I know, so it's going to be hard. Maybe the top three, but what was your number one fragrance that he had that either you've heard about, never smelled it, or you loved it, or was there anything that really stood out?
So to be fair, like, I think we had talked enough that I kind of knew what he had for the most part in his collection, but I think a lot of like the strangely enough, a lot of the vintage designers, like I remember like, wanting to try like the Kuros vintage and stuff like that. Because, a lot of the stuff that was in his collection, and, all due respect, but like a lot of it was, Mal, Guerlain, Chanel, whatever. But I remember like, I want to smell that like Kuros Pour Homme and, a lot of those like vintage designers that just aren't out there, or earlier formulations of stuff that just aren't out there.
So much has changed, just even talking to the perfumers, how either through regulations or cost, they've tried to either switch the fragrances for something more synthetic, or one big company buys the small house and they try to reformulate just to squeeze out pennies, and it changes the whole experience. And you have a whole group of guys like us who remember, Kristo, you seem like a little bit younger than Eugene and myself, but you have these fragrances. They don't make them like this anymore because either it's not available or it's too costly, and the younger generation, they're smelling these fragrances and the experience is so much less. It's less than the experience that Eugene and I or that we would have with the vintage fragrances. And it's sad. It makes me a little sad because when they smell something that's rich, they're not familiar with it. And it's, oh, this smells dated, where it's, no, it smells fucking first class. That's what it is. And so the experience is different.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, like, I did my designer, I did my entry level designer, then I got into like rare, obscure designer, then I got into niche, and then now I'm kind of coming back to like classic designers. So,
like
and
what?
so I'm getting into Paco Rabanne pour Homme, Sung Homme, my louder pour Homme, which I've got here, but I haven't really showed it yet because we've been talking nonsense. But I'm just getting into those.
What did you say? What nonsense? You're
talking.
Your golden mouth. It's coming out. People are loving this. People are loving. What did you just show us? Honest, seriously. What is the?
That's Estee Lauder for Men.
Oh, Lauder for Men. That's a classic too. That's their first bag, isn't it?
I think it is. I could be wrong, but someone actually sent me that bottle and it just blew me away. I was like, I've never smelled a Sheeper for Men like this. Like, it just changed everything. And that kind of sent me down this like classic masculine path. So, getting into not just Sheepers for Men, but also like getting into like the Fougères for Men and stuff. And so I'm really into that. I have to admit, like, a lot of the niche world isn't really grabbing me like it used to.
You had made a comment about people are loving your stories, by the way, from what I'm seeing, Kristo. You had made a mention about these niche brands making flankers. There's so much going on right now. The retail marketplace in fragrances, especially the men's, is in such it's a clusterfuck, if I could say it. And the retailers will not. What happens is that when a retailer used to buy in a fragrance, it would grow from one size to two sizes to a shower gel, a body balm, and a soap bar, and they would grow it over 3-4 years, and you'd have ancillaries in a fragrance, and that would be it. And what's going on right now is you have them demanding flankers. They won't take a single fragrance. So that's why I've been regulated to online, because I don't have a whole collection of 12 fragrances. And what happens is that once they have the flankers, they're bringing in product into the store. You always have something new. But what happens, of the 12, of the 7, of the 5, maybe 1 or 2 will sell. And so what happens is that the store then says, and I'm not talking about any particular retailer, they'll return the ones that are not selling 6 months later, and then expect to replace it with another 5 or another 4 or another 3. And that's why you see this. Well, I call it fragrance churning. You see the investments are not being made in the fragrances. The investments are not made in the packaging. And it seems like and I don't want to knock anyone, it's just the reality. I hear the people in the industry, the perfumers, I hear them all talking that it's secondary, it's less than, it's being made for like an H&M shirt. It's being made for a couple of uses and thrown away. And it is sad. It takes away from the artistry of it,
I know Guerlain's gone through that for a long time now, especially creating a lot of flankers and then discontinuing them. And their reason was department stores demand more product. They want to fill the shelves. So you'll see all these versions of Le Petit Robe Noir. After a couple of years, they don't sell. They get discontinued. and then a new version will come out. And it's exactly how you just said it right now. It's mostly from department stores demanding this stuff.
Right. And you know, Guerlain, because again, from what I'm hearing, Guerlain is having a very difficult time with that. They're not happy with that. It bothers them a lot, especially the purists at Guerlain that you know, Guerlain is one of the few companies, and Chanel too. I know you had mentioned me about the Chanel
that's right.
About the Chanel fragrances, but they're not happy about that at all. Guerlain has been the most the lamenting of it is the
disgruntled.
And Chanel too, like, you know, you go to the south of France and it's those fields are Chanel's, you know, those are they look at fragrance, and I do too. I mean, and you do, we all do actually, as something very holy and beautiful, and not something that
commercialized, right?
Yeah, but it's a necessary evil because Guerlain needs to compete at the end of the year. They look at the numbers, and it's, you know, all of the fragrances, and Guerlain needs to be as part of that group in order to survive and be relevant, you know?
Totally.
It's just interesting. And now with everything that's happening, I'm talking, you know, to corporate, and they're saying now that we won't be able to smell fragrances in the store anymore. And it's like, what's up with that?
No testers. I know around here, if you're lucky to find a shop that has perfume, they've taken all their testers down. And it's all because of this corona and isolation stuff. But who knows if they'll ever come back up. But
they will. But I think that there's going to be I predict, and Mark, and I've said this to you too, Eugene, but I see it even more now, even more so, is that you guys are going to be a huge role in the men's fragrance, the way things are sold and educated, and you guys are the future of this. That's my, I'm very vocal about that, but that's what I think.
I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Flattering, but yeah, you know, fair enough. I don't know. I think that's,
I'm sure we
giving
have
us
people that fill that role already quite well.
Like how? Like, tell me, like, when you guys actually look at it, and we could get off this discussion, of course, but when you guys you have the retailers, you have them closing stores, they're not able to survive. You know, Neiman's is trying to file bankruptcy, and they're trying, the investors are wanting it to merge with Saks or to sell with another one. You don't have that many outlets anymore. And so what's the next level is you guys. So that there's no other way to get, you know, there were 900 launches last year, 900. Wow. And so how do you stand out, and how do you get it out there? Barney's was a huge part of having these very niche special brands from all over the world, and they're gone, right? And then you have now Neiman's. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. It'll be interesting to see where this is all going. What does the future of fragrance retail look like? More brands moving online only. Well, what else is there? There's no other way to do it, because a lot of these.
So, okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, give me a minute to grab some beers and run to the lavatory, but I definitely have some insight into this. So give me a couple minutes, gentlemen.
Sure.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that, because Guerlain.
And I'm going to show that I'm actually wearing pants as well.
You're the only one of us.
You got to take them off. Take them off, Kristo.
Take them off. Take them off.
What's his background, Eugene? What is Kristo's background where he's familiar with this?
His background in perfume?
In retail, like you said, he's got some insight. Does he work in retail?
He's got some schooling. I don't know. I'll let him tell you. I don't want to speak for him.
All right.
But Guerlain closed their Toronto boutique here, and they have zero online presence in Canada.
Why, though? Do you know why? Do they sell to Holt?
They moved into Holt, but I asked the president here, like, why, like, what's up with that? And he said it's so expensive to get on online, it would take them literally 5 years to pay that debt off.
For online?
Yeah, just for the online experience.
Oh, the way they want to do it.
Right.
Do you know,
it wasn't worth it for them.
When I was in Hong Kong, actually Hong Kong, Singapore, Tokyo, Guerlain has these very little. I saw these little, the little stores.
Yeah,
and it was all perfume where you
pop
could
up stores.
But no, they were actually boutiques. And
okay.
It was a small, and it was just a fragrance experience, and it had. You could actually pour and mix and mix. Did you ever see that before? I gotta find that. I saw them in the different cities. It was probably the size of a bathroom. Like it was very small, but it was all marble, and it had the jugs of perfumes.
Right.
You know, the big ones, like when you go.
I know what you're talking about. They were filling the bee bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I never saw that before.
They were supposed to get those in Toronto too, but a lot of their plans got spoiled with the closure of the boutique. But they do have those in a lot of places worldwide.
I think Guerlain is one of those very special brands, and I know you're going to agree with me, that needs to have the experience. You need to be there to experience the art.
They
right?
don't have the exposure. If people only knew what they were missing, like their senses would literally be blown away.
It's
and
beautiful.
You just, they don't, in the States, there's no access to Guerlain, or it's very limited. Like, I don't know. Can you walk into a Macy's and smell old Guerlain?
I don't know. I haven't been into a Macy's and.
You're like Paris Hilton. What's Walmart? Do you remember that? When she had her
I know, I saw that.
Her and Nicole Richie had this show, and they're like, "What's Walmart?"
I had to take care of something, and they're like, just go to Walmart and get me a gift card. I go, if my accountant, the person that handles my finances, sees this charge from Walmart, they're gonna be like, what the hell were you doing there?
Yeah, totally.
Just I'm having fun. All right, go ahead, Kristo. I'm all ears. I want to hear this.
All right, I'm going to get a drink. You guys take over.
Okay, so I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What a tease. So okay, my opinion, I think I see this as well. So in other kind of hobby circles I'm in, I collect records, and I see a lot of
records, like music records.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Like vinyl records. And I see that a mistake being made is that they want to keep this romantic image of going into a store and flipping through albums and picking out what you want, instead of modernizing and putting their catalogs online for people to order. And I see it over and over again where, record stores, small indie perfume shops, right, things like that are going out of business because their online presence is atrocious.
Right.
And I know it's not romantic to go online and put something in your cart and pay for it and check out. I know it's not, but that's what people are doing. People want something that's as cheap as possible, right, as quickly as they can.
And that makes me sad, because you're having a whole generation now that is growing up with fast fashion and fast fragrance, and it's just churning to the next, and there's no enjoyment from it. It's just like,
yeah, it's just clicking buttons and getting what you want. Now, I have to say, in a sense, I understand, but it's also, it totally takes the kind of, romanticism out of it, right, going into a record store and pulling out a record, taking it out of the sleeve, pulling out the vinyl, looking at it, going into a perfume shop, spraying it, smelling it, that kind of thing, and just say, yeah, I'll take this one. But and I think that's what it is. Like, I really do. I honestly think that's what it is. It's just a lot of these places think like, oh no, we're not going to go out of business. We've got we're a really good perfume brand or whatever, or you're not out of business, but I think they just have these like romantic delusions that end up coming back to bite them.
I think with Guerlain, they were in way over their head. They had only perfume and cosmetics, and their rent was over $1 million a year in one of the nicest parts of Toronto. And every time I went in there, there was nobody ever shopping. There was nobody ever buying shit. Most of the stuff you can find in there, you can also find online discounted. So,
And that's also a problem with the gray market, because you could sell a shipment to the Middle East, and I'm sorry, I've had huge experiences with shipping to the Middle East, and you could sign all the contracts and the agreements that you want, but then you'll be walking into Perfumania, or wherever it is, and you'll see your shit on the shelves, and you'll be like, Jesus Christ. It's very hard, especially a company like Guerlain, where you have so much product being, you have, what is it? 4,000 or 5,000 retail stores all over the country. Right. You're going to have some diverted goods. You're going to have goods that are going to be,
you're kind of in the field. Explain to us how that happens. Let's say a brand like Guerlain, how does their product end up in the discount shop? Is it Guerlain sending it to the discount shop, or is it aftermarket?
So what happens is that when you have a company like Guerlain, and even if you go through the LVMH or Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton's their annual report, they'll show you all the different companies that are in different countries. They have they have it themselves set up in every country, or they have distributors. Guerlain, a lot of them, they would rather partner with someone who is familiar with the distribution, and they have the relationship, so on and so forth. So let's say now I'm selling to 90 markets all over the country, and all of a sudden I have a distributor in, I don't know, Qatar, South Africa, wherever, and I'm sending the kind of volume that someone like Guerlain is doing. It's very difficult for Guerlain France to really keep an eye on what's happening. And sometimes the distributor needs cash. And what they'll do is, because it's 75% off of retail is what the norm is for what they call duty free. Like anything outside of the States, if something is retail for $100, I will sell it to the distributor for $25. And in that $75, they got to do the marketing, the sales force, the markup to the retail for their stores. So now you have $25 they're bringing in. All they need to do is turn it around for $5 a bottle, send it back to the States or to the gray market. And there you go. They're making millions and millions of dollars. And that is why the UPC code, the bottom of the box, this little thing here that you see, it's different for different countries. It doesn't. This here is a U.S. UPC code, and people think that they'll look at the UPC code and say this was meant for Saks or Neiman's. That's not the case. It's just for the country to know where, just to find out who makes it, the details. If there's issues, all sorts of stuff. You're registering your product, but there's some where you could say this was coming from the Middle East, this was coming from Germany, this is supposed to be in Argentina. And then they can go back and say to their Argentinian distributor, what the fuck are you doing? You see?
Right.
And or they'll put little codes inside the box. I'm not going to say anything, but in here, there's something where I'm able to see where it came from. And that's why sometimes with diverted goods, you won't get a box, or it'll be scratched out.
Yeah, I've gotten some creeds before with with numbers scratched off, or
yeah, Chanel myself. Yeah, Chanel were like black market in Southeast Asia and Indonesia especially. So yeah, like I remember buying a L'Homme and like the like 4-digit code on the back was scratched off.
But I always wondered, like, let's say with the Guerlain exclusive, something that's only sold in, a handful of places in the world, how does something like that end up in discount? But I'm
So
sure.
sometimes if you have the president, remember they're all little businesses. So and I'm not going to say Guerlain, okay, because I don't know. But
Okay.
sometimes when Guerlain needs some cash to hit those numbers in Croatia, Nepal, India, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? A quick phone call and there's your cash. Do you know? And you let something go, because sometimes, I mean, look, no matter how you see it, Louis Vuitton, Guerlain, Chanel, Hermes, at the end of the day, they have, 1,200 stores. It's not exclusive, right? And so they have excess inventory that they need to get rid of. And what better way but to dump it in a part of the world where you could say those aren't real or that isn't authentic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So no,
Totally.
still, at
Absolutely.
the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's money, it's numbers, it's hitting those year end, it's someone getting a bonus. And I'm not just, please, I want to make sure if Hermes, Chanel, I'm not saying that they're doing this. I'm just saying it's business. It happens for anything, Reebok, Nike, anything,
Cool.
Yeah.
It's good to get
No,
some
absolutely.
insight.
And that's exact. What's that?
I just said it's cool to get some insight, something I've always been curious about.
And when you guys find
Yeah,
something
because I think it is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you're lagging.
No,
Chris.
no, please, sir. Go ahead.
So I went and the cap on my bottle, I was looking and all of a sudden I saw that someone is using, anyway, it's very easy for copies and all of that. And it pisses the motherfuck out of me, but there's nothing you could do. So when you guys have, and these countries, they have this down pat. If you see a fake bottle of Parfums de Marly and they're making those, there's not 10 bottles, there's hundreds of thousands of bottles of these fakes going out into the world. And that's what Creed, I think one of Michael Dinsmore, Making Sense, was showing those big jugs of Creed. Like they sell like 20-ounce bottles. Have you seen those?
No.
And so anyway, Creed is selling these bottles for look at this. Okay, guys, there's 128 people in there. Creed sells 16-ounce bottles, and it's like that's.
I had no clue.
And it's a twist top. It's not a sprayer. It's a big jug, and it's like, all someone has to do is buy that and put 10% of the real with 80% of a fake, and you sell it, for a premium. So.
Do you think knockoffs are going to be something we need to worry about more in the future, especially with these clone houses coming up? They're getting pretty good with these dupes.
So you have twofold. You have the knockoffs, the counterfeit, and then you have the knockoffs, what we call the Me Too, the inspired by. And the reason why they're getting better, and this is just my opinion, my conspiracy, my theory, is because the fragrances are getting cheaper. The oils are being more synthetic, and so it's easier. It's not as intricate and delicate, and that's what we're getting. And also you have the technology now, because it's all molecules, right? You just copy the molecules, and the better you can get to it, the better you can copy it.
How about as far as having exclusive rights to certain ingredients in the south of France or, special ambergris? Is that easily duplicated as well?
So when it comes to that, it's just like wine. Depending on the crop, it's the soil, it's the type of seeds you use, it's the water. All of that is all plays a difference in our food and what we smell, everything. For you, I don't know how. Yes, you could have exclusive rights. You could have exclusive seeds. You could have all of that. I don't know enough to say whether or not that's enough to tell the difference. Like when I was looking for patchouli and I was looking into it in Indonesia, actually, the Denpasar has a certain type of patchouli but the true patchouli is in the Aceh province, up in about 5 hours by car in Banda Aceh, which I was dying driving up and down those mountains. But anyway, and so, but there's a difference. There's a difference in quality and how you smell depending upon where it's grown. Did I answer your question?
You kind of
have exclusive, you could have an exclusive part of the world where you grow your own oils. But is that enough where you could tell a difference? I don't know.
Right. Right. And I haven't smelt enough to make a comparison myself, but
I mean, to be able to say, so what you're asking is if I say this is the rose from the south of France, Bulgarian rose, versus here's a Bulgarian rose in Turkey, I'm sure there's going to be perfumers going to be like, of course, I know.
Yeah.
To the average person, to the average nose, even someone heightened like yourself, especially when it's mixed with other oils.
Yeah, but I think the post I highlighted on this screen right there is the best way to protect yourself is to buy from an authorized, reputable distributor. And that's what I usually do when I'm buying, like he says, expensive fragrances.
Because it's very easy for them to mix it with, just listen, if you have a half a bottle of your, not you, but a Chanel, like the expensive, just put alcohol in it, you shake it up. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be very careful who you're buying your stuff from.
Yeah.
It's awful saying it, but it's the truth. It's strange, especially when you're dealing with fragrances that are retailing for thousands of dollars, But the one thing also, and I'm very passionate about this, is that I once said that you guys within yourselves need to regulate each other, because like the oils that are being used, right? Do you know where they're coming from? Do you know who's growing it? Are they using child labor? Are they destroying the ecosystem? Are they poisoning the water source to the village? Like, all of those things are so important. That cost, it adds to the cost of the oil, right? Whereas if you're pulling it like even in Penang, they fucking go in the middle of the night, they tie the oud tree to their truck and yanking them out of the forest and literally dragging the tree on the street so they could break it down and sell it. So,
Yeah, so kind of saying that there, I remember like very specifically, like in Southeast Asia, like in basically most of the world where oud agar wood is grown, they're protected. They're very protected because they're so endangered. And there was an article maybe about 2013, 14, when I was in Indonesia, about poachers who would go into protected agar wood forests and illegally poach from these trees. And people will kill orangutans and tigers because they encroach on these agar wood forests. So the people that are like sorry?
Yes, and it's not only agar wood, but it's sandalwood. It's very
exactly
sad. A lot of different oils, and it's very sad. And look, I'm sorry, my audio. If it's me that my audio is sucky, I apologize.
It's okay on my end.
No, don't worry.
But you're right. That everything matters, and that's what I'm very passionate about. Everything matters, even your glass and all.
That's all, that. George. That's all great and stuff, but we just have no access to that information unless we were to go back and follow where all of this material is sourced from, which would get super expensive. But there's absolutely no way that we know of, how to come across that.
Well, I make sure, some of the bigger brands, if it's like, for example, with Mon, every oil has its own, like there's a backup of who grew it, where's it coming from, which.
Right. It's got a tracking number.
Yeah. And what is the carbon footprint? Like, all of that's important to me. It adds cost, but I could sleep at night knowing that I could go see the farmer, which I did. I did a video on it to show like you could literally get on a plane and go and see who's growing your oils. And for me, it's like I said, even the glass makers, even it's all of that is just it's part of what fragrance should be, right?
Right.
The beauty, the art of it. And a lot of people just see it as a dollar sign or a pound sign or a yen or whatever.
It's kind of similar to what we do, even though it's not fragrance. It's like when we're building cars, we put a Julian date on every single part. And if the car were to get into a smash up and something were to give, like a part would buckle, that's not supposed to. We go back to that Julian date, which is associated with more, more paperwork from ISO and stuff like that. But you can tell what kind of steel went into the car, the date of manufacture, who was working on it. It just provides so much information, and that's kind of something that you're talking about with fragrance, right? When they're sourcing materials, where it comes from, what part of the world, who farmed it, who harvested it.
And what went into it. And Kristo, you were talking about oud. The oud plantation that I went in was in the southwest part of the Guangdong region in China, and it was when all the dynasties this family has had a million agarwood trees. You guys, I wish I could put everyone on an airplane and just go and experience to see this with their own eyes, but like. They're so careful, like they don't kill the tree when they pull the agarwood out. They cut it where it grows again, and it's right.
Yeah,
and
brilliant. Yeah.
Well, they need to maintain it for their, for future supplies.
That's right, and they care about it, right? And a lot of the producers in other countries, so you get 100% pure oud. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, it's like honey. It's beautiful. Whereas a lot of them, to lower the price, they will leave it with other botanical, it won't be as pure. It'll be like 10% pure. It would be 10% oud with other parts of
be like watered down.
That's right. To have it cheaper. Hold on. I got to make sure how I say this. When you make the oud, you cut it up. You make the chips. It looks like sawwood, and then you put it, and either you extract it through carbon or through steam. And carbon, you get 100% pure oud. With the steam, you're going to get the fibers, in the oil. There's going to be other plant matter. That's what I meant, plant matter, and that's when you don't get pure oud. But there's a lot of oils like that too that say it's oud, but only 10% of it's oud. So it's all of that.
Absolutely. No, totally. I know. I get it. And I appreciate that kind of stuff. But kind of what I was referring to, and there's like a bit of backlash in the comments and stuff, but it's like, these are like people encroaching on protected areas that are literally like cutting down protected areas to make money. And they're killing endangered species. Like, we're not talking about using their meat. We're talking about like just literally killing.
Because it's a nuisance. They're a nuisance. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's just like there's a difference between killing an animal to eat its meat and exactly, right. And to kill an animal because it's going to destroy your illegally founded, assets, kind of thing. Like, and that's what I'm putting out there. Like, I don't eat meat myself, but I get why people do. And it's like, when we eat chicken, whatever, any other meat, it's not like these are like fucking beautiful protected species.
Intelligent, but remember, they're not just doing it for oud. They're doing it for fucking palm oil, for cheap shit.
Oh my God!
Because I'm all.
George.
Kristo, the sun is however the sun is setting your face. Look at how beautiful he looks.
Yeah, he looks angelic. I want to take a snapshot and frame it, put on my nightstand.
George, like the palm oil industry, it's dark. It's
Terrible.
so much worse than the oud oil. Oh my god, it is. It really is. It's fucking dark. It's grim. Like really, it is. So you know what? I don't even want to get into that shit. Like I'm kind of getting to the end of my hour where I'm like, hour and 20 minutes where I'm like, I'm just like overwhelmed and shit like here. But
Are you overwhelmed? Why are you overwhelmed?
I don't know. I just kind of get to this point where I'm just like, okay, like an hour and 20 minutes go. But you know what? I really enjoyed this. Like I love having George on. Like this has been really cool. And Eugene wouldn't tell me who was on. He's like, someone's coming on. You're gonna know who's coming on. It's like
I didn't know myself until after the stream had started. I was messaging with George and I said, hey, do you want to come on? And he's like, yeah, give me a couple minutes. And
so let me ask you this. Okay, so we're talking about the two of you. So you guys meet, and how long has this friendship been? How long have you guys known each other for?
Well, I guess it would have been around like what? Like May 2015?
I was going to say 5 years easy, maybe more.
So you did
Yeah,
this
probably
before
about
you
5
started
years.
your channel? Is this before you started your channel you guys met?
No, so Eugene had a channel, but to be honest, like I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but I didn't know he had a channel when he first contacted me because I'm so far removed from the fragrance community. I don't know who's doing what or what's going on. And
I didn't tell him for the longest time either.
He didn't, yeah.
I eventually told you, you're like, what? Like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I don't know. I don't really tell anybody, so.
And now this guy's got more. This guy, I don't even know. Like it's all backwards. This guy's got more subscribers. Eugene's got like 1,100 more subs or like 15 more hundred subs than I do, and I started like 10 years ago.
But to be honest, you don't upload a whole lot.
You have your own channel, Kristo?
Oh yeah. I've been on YouTube for 10 years, man.
So what's your channel?
My channel is literally, so it changed. I used to be the Betawi blood, which is like Betawi's the term for someone from Jakarta. Okay. But
But Betawi? So
Betawi?
But spell it.
Betawai. So have you ever heard Batavia?
Okay, Batavia, yes.
Yes, Batavia is the English term for Betawi. So
is that like porteños or porteños or a carioca from Rio?
It's Dutch,
but they call it Betawi if you're from Jakarta.
Yeah, so it's the Dutch term. So the Dutch controlled Indonesia colonial for like hundreds of years, and their word for Jakarta was Batavia, which translated into Melayu awesome. Indonesian was Betawi.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, I love that. So go ahead. So the two of you, let's get back to the two of you guys. So
he's on my channel all the time, and it's like I feel stupid giving him shout outs because go through.
Wait, hang on. Start that again. What's that?
I said he's on my channel all the time, live streaming, and I feel giving him a shout out because most people that are subscribed to me, I imagine they're subscribed to him as well. At least the people that watch us most.
Dude, you've left me in the dust, man. You're like light years beyond me now.
I wouldn't call 1,000 more subscribers in the dust. I mean, you could easily upload a few videos in the next few weeks and you'd be right there.
You're being too kind.
Kristo, what's your channel?
So you know what? I think it's just like Kristo Maves. Like I literally don't even remember because I've uploaded like one video in the last year.
Okay.
I do live streams now and again, but George, seriously, like I'll totally get in touch with you, and we'll connect after this for sure.
I think that people are I think this is really nice because people watching this are learning about you too, so it's not so much about me but learning about you, and because I wanted to know, I know that everyone else is wondering too, and so it's very nice for sharing. I appreciate this. It's awesome.
They all know Kristo way too well. We've gotten shit faced in front of this audience.
Dude, we did like we did JPEGs where we were like, pretending to like do cocaine off of like a Hermes box, and Oh yeah, I've been drunker on Eugene's channel than like 99% of people in my life have ever seen me, and it was fucking awesome. But no, we're stupid. We do stupid shit and push the boundaries. But no, absolutely, I'll get in touch with you, George, after this.
Oh, good. And you know what? First of all, thank you, Eugene, for inviting me. Kristo, this was awesome. Thank everyone in the room.
Are you all
God bless
leaving?
you guys.
Are we getting tired? Is it time to
I'm
wrap?
getting tired, man. If you
let
want to go on with
talk.
George,
I was gonna let you guys take off. I didn't want to be, you guys could do your thing. So
I'm gonna drop Kristo's channel in the comments for anyone that needs it.
I'll like Eugene needs to mention it now.
Yeah, I'm so fucking stupid, but
no, dude, fuck. Oh, come on.
But
come on.
Kristo gets really like, I guess he gets a little bit embarrassed. He doesn't like promoting his own channel. He doesn't share it. He never talks.
I don't care. I don't know. I'm here to talk about perfume and be stupid and all that shit. But
tell Kristo how much you guys love him. He needs to.
No, don't. Please don't.
Do you know what I have to tell you something, Kristo. I am new to the fragrance community, and I'm reading some of the comments, and so for me, this is new for me. I'm a year into this, and I would like to maybe use the word enamored. Like there's something about this community that I enjoy, and because also I love making fragrances, and I love meeting people that equally love it. The fragrance community needs good people, like yourself. And so by you not doing content, you seem like a very interesting guy. You seem like you're somebody that could share your own story. And I think that the fragrance community needs good people that know what they're talking about, so the more that can get in there, better.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? I agree as well. But I think, I don't want to take that and just focus it on me. But I do think there's too many fake, phony people that will say anything to get a little bit of revenue and a few free bottles. And that's kind of what bothers me. And I have no problem. I've got no problem taking free bottles from people. But if I'm going to talk about your shit, it's got to be good or in a positive way. And I don't say negative stuff. And it's just like,
listen.
Go on.
Just listen for a minute, please. Be the change that you want to see in the world, right?
Yeah, don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
Have a channel where you're doing it, where you're an example to others, and people will see it. People will see the difference. And this whole thing with the free bottles, let me tell you something. I lose my shit when I hear it because 900 launches. How does any brand get their vision and their passion out into the world without giving a bottle? I keep telling this to anyone that I can, and there's 134 people in this room, and I really want them to really understand, coming from someone who creates and has invested a lot into creating something like a fragrance. There's no other way. I can't call Eugene and say, hey, Eugene, you know what? There's 900 fragrance launches, but will you spend $150 and buy mine? It will never happen. How do you get these special brands, these special little fragrances? I'm not talking about mine. I'm just saying, how do you get it out into the world other than giving it? Right?
Okay. Now, I very much understand where you're coming from. So as the owner, creative director, perfumer, I have nothing against you or anyone sending bottles, samples, whatever to reviewers. But when they're reviewing this stuff to get, brownie points, to get more free, exactly. That's my beef. I don't care. There's controversy around certain brands that send stuff out to people to review. I have no problem with the brand. It's the people that will sell their soul to get a fucking free bottle of perfume. That's what pisses me off. I have no problem at all with the brands that send it out. Of course, So George, my postgraduate is in public relations.
Okay.
I know this. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I've studied this in very graphic detail. It's the people who sell themselves out to get money, to get something for free, that piss me off. I don't care. If you can send your product to dozens, hundreds of people, it's the people who review it falsely, praise it falsely, that piss me off.
There's nothing in this conversation that I've heard, Kristo, that tells me that you don't know what you're talking about. There was a comment saying, and when you were talking about that, and George hangs out with all of them, I equally try to be the same with everybody. I have never forced, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even know. Anyway, I know my truth, and that's it. Go ahead. You were saying something, Eugene.
I was just gonna say I don't know anyone that reviews for free bottles.
You don't. Okay, but like, look, George, like,
talking about.
Like, look,
George,
like
you
this.
Keep doing what you're doing. You know what you are, and that's all you got to worry about, right?
You're right.
You know, I've seen you send bottles to even the small guy with, less than 1,000 subscribers, and nobody does that. Nobody. Not only that, but you've done what nobody else has done. You don't just take a bottle and fucking ship it to the guy. You get on a plane and hand deliver it to half of these motherfuckers. Who else does that?
Well,
no one.
And not only that, the devil sent me. I also, because I know that there's grievances going on, is that I sent out 30,000 free samples. Do the math. And so I did that as well because I didn't want let everyone choose for themselves. If you guys want to smell it, smell it. You don't have to buy it. And that is something that I wanted to do as well. So not only did I give free samples not only did I give out free bottles, I gave out free sampling. So everyone could smell it. And that was a very expensive thing, and I won't be able to do the next couple launches. But I'm trying to figure out how to do that now because it was a lot. It was in the six figures. It was a lot of money.
But you know what? And that's respectable because it's like you're clearly just
you're invested not just financially but also your time, which is a more precious asset. And anyone that thinks it's false, just go and try the fragrance for yourself.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sample.
Thank you. Exactly. It's just like if some dickhead on YouTube says it's amazing and buy it from my link in the fucking comments, it's like, you know what? If you buy it and it sucks, that's your fault. You're stupid.
But return it back to me. Send it back to me. You don't like
there you
it,
go.
send it back to me.
There you go. There you go. And you know what? Like, I like, all due respect, I've never tried anything you said, but I love where you're coming from. I think what you're doing is genuine, and I really like your mentality towards this. And I think, and I don't hold animosity towards, perfumers, owners, blah, 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 whatever. It's the people that are putting out fake reviews that piss me off. And that's it. And even then, I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to call them out by name. If they want to do that, that's their prerogative.
Well, if we're keeping it 100, the one thing that's very difficult for me is it's not a free bottle, it's more than that. And that's scary. And that's all.
No, so I get it.
Free bottle is the least of it.
I know you must get a lot of flack for sending out bottles to reviewers. You're probably accused of looking for positive reviews, but I know that you've also faced and I've talked about this on my channel. Maybe you want to talk about it some more. Reviewers taking those, those bottles, those free bottles or gifts, however you've sent them.
Oh my God.
Actually returning them for a full refund.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to go to the bathroom quickly. I'll be back, but I want to weigh in on this bad.
All right, we'll wait till you get back.
Well, and you know what, though, Eugene? I didn't have a bottle is nothing. They would, people would return. people would return a $3,000 suit that I would gift them. And so
wow. I didn't know about that.
I'm used to that. And I just have to bless it. Like, I can't get myself worked up over it. I figure if they really needed it. But think about what that ends up costing me, right? Because not only do I pay for the actual bottle,
right,
but now when it returns, Nordstrom comes to me and asks me for that. So it costs me double. Dude, tell me you need $100, I'll send it to you. I mean, I'd rather you do that.
Yeah. Wow. That's something you just got to put the ego aside and not let it kill you. Right. Because that's kind of personal too when you're gifting somebody a $3,000 suit. But saying all this,
let me ask you something. What?
Go ahead.
Just tell me, finish your thought.
I was going to give out my coupon code and I get nothing out of it. I've been given the coupon code from Premier Avenue. If you guys want to use it, a couple of people have asked me. And this is not a promotion. I get fuck all from it, I swear. Just punch in Eugene 10 at Premier Avenue. They have free shipping right now under, I think, over 100 euros or something, but you get 10% off. And I know they don't want me sharing that because I asked them for a coupon code for my viewers and they flat out told me no. So I've got a code. You guys feel free to use it.
What's it called? What's this place called?
It's called
what?
Premier Avenue. And
it's a website that sells fragrances?
Yeah. Most of my viewers know of it.
Where are they based out of Canada?
No, France.
France. Okay, what's the code again?
Eugene 10.
Eugene 10. And it's EUGEN.
Here, yeah, my name's fucked up.
There's no E after the N.
Yeah.
So it's
there
Eugene
it is. I just typed it in.
Can I ask you guys something? Because there's now 137 people in this room.
Yeah.
So let's say now we know each other, Eugene, and all of a sudden now I launch the next fragrance. I would not you, but just anybody because I'm friendly with a lot of you guys now, and I don't want people to say they're doing this because, they're friends with George. Would it be better if you just said, hey, you know what, George is a friend, so I'm not going to give you a plus or a minus, but this is what it's all about. It has this. Would you be more apt to wanting that, or do you want someone to actually, you want the opinion? Viewers, you guys all in the room right now, what do you guys think of that?
Sorry, say again. I'm not sure I understood your question properly.
Well, so right now it's in my head and it's coming out of my mouth, and I don't know if it sounds right. But let's say now you and I were friends. I'm friends with a lot of you guys, right? And so I launched the next fragrance.
Right.
First of all, I've never asked anybody. I would send the bottle and that's it. I would never ask anyone to review or positive or anything. I would just let it be. But let's say if the guy goes, hey, you know what? This is George's new fragrance. It has this, but because we're friends, I'm not going to give
a judgment.
Right. Do you think that people would respect that, or do you think people would be like, you know what? Either way, you'll see it. They'll be pissed because there's no judgment, right? Because people want judgment.
People want the judgment, but it might be harder on the reviewer to actually do that.
Right. I get it.
So I think
you were saying, go ahead, Kristo.
So I think if someone contacted me, and it really does not happen often, but someone's like, hey, I want to send you a bottle. Will you review it? I'll say, hey, I'll review it if I like it. And the thing is as well, on top of that, like Victor from Zoologist, who is our mutual friend, like me and Eugene, he sent me stuff that I really love that I just haven't reviewed yet because I'm a fucking lazy bastard.
At least you admit it, I guess. I don't know.
I admit it. No. Like, there's like, I've definitely gotten stuff from Zoologists that I really enjoy, but I haven't reviewed. You know what? Like, I'm not trying to like pass judgment off onto you, George, like, or, any indie perfumers. Like, I'm not at all. Because I understand that part of marketing now is sending stuff to reviewers, influencers, and stuff like that. It's more people that just give, disingenuous reviews to keep getting the stuff that bothers me. Like, it's just kind of like, I understand the marketplace. I understand how you have to get your brand and your label out there. And I'm not saying that you do this at all. Please do not, mistake that. But it's just more that I have an issue with people giving phony reviews rather than brands sending out stuff to get recognized. It's the same with beer. I love beer. I'm like a huge craft beer aficionado, and it's the same thing. Like I see people that'll give like really high rankings to beers that they're just getting it sent for free.
Right. I just, I'm in my head too much. I look at feedback, just the way I am. I look at the situation and I think 5 steps ahead. And how to, and how to communicate it. Because I like the conversation. I love having the conversation, Go ahead.
I've been doing this quite a while now, and I used to be really judgmental on those brands sending out bottles to reviewers. And today it doesn't bother me nearly as much. And it's simply because I know which reviewers I watch and which reviewers I trust. And I don't get all worked up about it as much as I used to. People are always going to judge, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you do, you can be as honest as, you could be your pure, authentic self, and people are still going to judge. And it's just a difference of opinion.
And it's just the way it is. I see people getting so passionate, like if they don't like what you're saying, #WhackPack. But if they don't like what you're saying, I don't know how people get themselves so like they start swearing and they're like, you don't know what the heck. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's out there. It's definitely out there.
You said that you were going to say something about returning for cash. You said I have something to say about that.
Yeah, Kristo wanted to hear the story. You want to tell us about that?
It's just that, like when I send out gratis, so I come from a world where when you open an account, the whole cosmetic floor gets a bottle. So for me, giving a bottle when you launch something is just what they do. It's called collateral, okay? And so I realized that there are a few people that returned the bottle to Nordstrom and got the $155. And because I know where it's coming from and the name attached to it, I have to pay for that. People think that the system is so big, but I get a bill. Nordstrom wants me to cut them a check. And
wow.
So just I know better. I don't say anything.
Do you know, do you actually know who the reviewers are, the names behind them? Because they got to fill out a return slip.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Thank you, Jonathan. But yeah.
Wow. Crazy. That's fun. So I don't know, Eugene mentioned this in our last live stream or maybe texting or whatever, but now that it's out there, I'd like kind of talk about it. But I think we did kind of speculate on whether you or someone knew who it was, but that's crazy.
I didn't know that you actually knew who the person. I assumed that you just knew it was YouTube reviewers.
No. But you know what? It's okay though. I don't mean to do it for tea or to sit there. I think it would be evil.
No, it's good that you kind of let that information out to see what's going on. There's nothing wrong with that.
The only reason why I made it public was I wanted to stop. That's all. Like, it's okay.
Of course.
I get it. But I know when you return something and when someone knows that, they won't do it. And so I'm okay. I'm good with it. God bless you. If you needed it for something,
Yeah, maybe they needed to, put food on the table.
Right.
Right. Because they have thousands of bottles of perfume, but no food, right?
Just asked me, George, can you send me $150? I would have rather done that, right? Because all it does is it affects the whole system, right? Because it's not a customer returning it. And so it messes with a small brand, especially. It's just, it's not good. It doesn't help the industry as a whole, because small guys like me, it's a sale and everything matters,
Oh, I agree. And that's one of since I've started getting into indie and again, this doesn't reflect on anyone, but I don't trash indie. I don't say anything negative about indie. If I don't like it, I don't say anything. If it's Dior, if it's Chanel, you know, I'll shit all over them. I don't fucking care. But like, I don't say anything negative about indie. If I try something, if I buy something, if something's sent to me that's indie and I don't like it, I don't say anything. Like, I don't, because it's just like, that's make or break stuff. And that's like, I don't want to do that to someone just because simply I don't enjoy it. No, I think that's, and that's kind of where your, you know, kind of perfume reviewer, you know, morals come in, but I won't say anything.
It's very hard when you guys, I know a lot of people, there's so much investment that goes into creating a fragrance when it's done, when, you know, it's it could be over $1 million with molds and the minimums for the bottles and, you know, the development. And that's why I hate clones, because it's off the backs of those that went ahead and made the gamble, right?
Very good point.
And so it's very hard, because when you have a small brand, you know, this family in Florence, you know, or this young guy here in Chicago, and they're putting their passion out, it's very hard to have, it's very difficult, because a bashing from a larger channel could really make or break the brand, right? And so it's hard. It's just hard. And the only way I can, the only way I could see this is one day you guys are going to have your own brands and your own fragrances in the market, and you're going to see how important it is to what I'm saying, but also to play nice with each other, you know? Because I had a small problem, you know, when you go into business school, you read briefs of mistakes that companies made. Or when I talk to Nordstrom or Neiman's or whoever, and I'll like, you know, this is an idea I have, and they'll be like, no, Chanel tried that and it didn't work out. So why don't we try this? It isn't tea like Chanel. Nordstrom was bad talking you, Chanel. They said that you tried this and you fell on your face. No, it's to grow and learn. You go and do a master's program, and they'll tell you IBM did this and this is what they did and they messed it up, and what would you do differently? You know what I mean? And so when I look at the industry and I see the inner goings of what's happening, I love to jump right in and say, that isn't that, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And then it becomes gossip, fodder. And the only way you guys will know is when you guys have your own brands and you're trying to build. Yeah. What are you laughing at, Eugene?
I'm just looking over some of the comments. They're pretty funny.
Who is this third guy? Me, you mean?
No. But there's a question here asking, what would you name a fragrance inspired by Eugene? George. Karma. Wow. Interesting.
You really did something profound for me. And I'm going to just say it in a general sense that we were talking and I said, Eugene, this, and this. And he goes, listen, when you spit in the wind, it's going to come back to you. You're going to get wet. Like what you put out into the world comes back. And that was something that was, I know it. Of course,
I know what you're talking about.
But the fact that it was like me saying, I'm just getting back what I put out, was profound for me, because it was like, it just showed me how spiritually aware you were, and that I love it. So karma, I would call it Karma by Eugenius.
Awesome. I love it.
How about you, Nick, Christoph, what would you name a fragrance from Eugene about Eugene?
Well, well, he's here. Like,
try to get as sappy as you can, like in your most romantic way.
Arrogance pour homme.
You think?
Wow.
Well, that's what I know him. Okay, superficially, I know him, but I also know him as like, that kind of like, sensitive, normal, just dude that you hang out with kind of thing. But yeah, I think like for the masses, yeah, I'd go something like that.
Well,
Look,
let
Marco,
me put into context what George was talking about.
Okay.
So it was probably over a year ago, I put out that 10 fragrance reviewers I can't stand video, and it was ugly. It was it was a lot bigger than I ever thought. Like I couldn't imagine.
It got messy. It got really messy.
Very messy. And a few months back, there was a very small YouTuber that came at me. He was very rigid and coarse and got very personal, and most of the story didn't even make sense. It was half of the stuff wasn't even true. So he didn't do even half of the research, but George just sort of reached out and said, "Hey, how you doing? Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. This is just karma coming back at me." I spit into the wind a year ago, and the wind, without realizing it, blew this spit halfway around the world, and it slapped me in the side of the face. And instead of me saying, who the fuck spit on me, I knew
he just blamed himself.
Right.
He took the power to himself and said, "It's my fault." Where do you hear that, Kristo? I want to say Kristo in Greek. Where do you hear that, Kristo? Where someone said, people are used to say, "Well, this person said this and he said that and he did," and Eugene goes, just beautifully goes, "It's my fault." And I was like, "Wow, that's huge. That's really huge."
Something that I put out there for myself. Like we all really create our own reality. Is
it's true.
What I believe.
And someone made a comment about me that even though it's still a business, I'm still selling something. We all are selling something, each one of us, as we move through life, whatever we want, from trying to get an appointment at the dentist or all of us are working and taking a paycheck based on selling and buying of something.
Yeah, you're selling your time.
And so I love this. I teach. I've taught the business of fashion here in Chicago at Columbia. And I love sharing knowledge, because no one would give me that knowledge when I was younger and trying to find my way. And if you guys really want to learn about me, I've fallen on my face. I've been through, I've lost everything, and I've had to pick myself up. And that's what life is. You fall and you pick yourself up.
I agree. I totally agree, my friend. No question. Absolutely.
And you have two guys here. You're a good guy, Christoph. I have to tell you, Kristo, is that the sun, when it hit your face, you had some really nice color. And so I feel like having a ring light or something sent over to you, because you look nice with color. Look how nice. Look
this guy is just so full of compliments. I swear to God, by the end of the night, your ego just goes like this, eh? It just
me?
No. I mean, that's how I feel when I talk to George. My ego just
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, George, you're too nice of a guy. You're too nice of a guy.
Biggest shovels I've ever seen.
You look at the positive of a person, because as you move through life, it's peace. You get creative. You're not judging and condemning other people, because you get that back at you. And so what I try to do, and I love looking at somebody. We all have a story, and you look at the positive. I have one more story to tell you. I have a friend of mine who gets paid an escort, and some of the individuals are not attractive at all. And I'm like, how the heck are you able to do what you do and perform? And I was told that even if it's a fingernail, I focus on something that's beautiful. And that was like, you know what? I like that. You focus on the positive, no matter how small it is. And all right. I love you guys. Thank you, Eugene, for having me. Kristo, it was nice to speak with you. I love
George. Awesome, my friend.
God bless.
Are you taking off already?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. You guys
all
go
right.
on now. Love you.
Awesome. Thanks, George, for coming on. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, hey, I outlasted one of our guests. But no, that was good. Like I love George. Like I've been kind of watching from afar, if you will.
Yeah, no, so interesting and so full of knowledge.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was awesome. That was really cool. So I guess I got to say, like, is there anything else to wrap it up? We're kind of getting around the 2-hour mark, which is kind of ridiculous, but.
Well, I don't know. Is there anyone that wants to come on?
Anyone?
Let me drop it here. You got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Before Robes, you want to come on, fucker? Robes is probably... I don't want Robes unless he comes in his underwear. And they got to be Lamal underwear.
I got Lamal underwear, but I'm not wearing them right now. People calling for Devil Sent Me to get on.
Oh, Naringa's offering to come on. It'd be a special guest. That. Fucking the ratings will blow it off the roof.
Oh, me next time? I guess that's like what, now or like the next time we go live?
Oh, Joey Cannoli. Let's fucking go, bro.
Is Cannoli on? Okay, bring him on.
No, he's saying... Here's the link. If Cannoli comes on, I got to get a drink.
Yeah, I got to go soon, man. I'm fucking tired and getting drunk, and I'm